Greetings, Internet. This is Danny Danger, and I am so excited because two of my favorite authors, Kelly Sue DeConnick and Matt Fraction, are in a contract deal with Universal TV to bring some of their comics and their own works into TV production. And all around the world, girls in comic book shops squealed at once. It was powerful. A few people were deafened. We're very sorry, you guys. Comic book fans know that Matt and Kelly Sue are responsible for some of the most progressive works in comics. I mean, Sex Criminals, an honest, upfront, and hilarious conversation about sex and coming of age, and also having orgasms that stop time and robbing banks. Pretty Deadly would be horrifying and beautiful and amazing to see on a television screen. And let's not forget about Bitch Planet. It's fierce, it's sci-fi, it's a conversation about women and feminism, and that needs to be on TV. This deal could change the public perception about what comic books are. If you've never read a comic book before and you happen to stumble across this video, you may think of comic books as superheroes. Capes and tights and good guys and bad guys and explosions, and those things are in comic books, but they're not all that comic books are. There's sci-fi, there's historical fiction, there's romance, there's all kinds of amazing stories out there that people don't know about just because they're not getting exposure. That could change. The part about this announcement that really tickles my imagination is that Kelly Sue and Matt have been very upfront about the fact that they want to help other creator-owned comics make it to the TV screen. Which is cool because can you imagine a saga TV show? Can you imagine a revival TV show, or dare I say it, rat queen? I will trample an entire crowd of redheaded girls to audition for Hannah. If you would like to audition for this hypothetical Hannah role, just be worried. I will crush you. I will crush you. We should be hearing news from their new production company, Milkfed Criminal Masterminds, fairly soon because they signed a 2-year deal. Like soon as in this week? Next week? Tomorrow? This announcement leaves me with a couple of questions, namely, where are they going to do this? I mean, Sex Criminals isn't exactly network TV friendly. Is it going to be like an HBO Showtime type of deal? Is it going to be like a Netflix type of deal? I think everybody's leaning towards internet-produced content just because of the freedom and the lack of censorship that they'll get hit with, but I'm curious to know. My second question is, are they considering any animated works? Because I'm not saying that Pretty Deadly wouldn't be amazing to behold in live action, but a Pretty Deadly animated feature might actually make my eyeballs explode out of my face, and it would totally be worth it. Completely 100% worth it. What do you guys think? Were you excited about the news? Are you already fan casting Sex Criminals in your head? I'm just saying I would really like to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt play, but I don't think he's tall enough. Oh man. Everyone has asked what I think about the new announcement that Catwoman is bisexual, and it was a great coincidence that it happened to be announced the same day that our bisexual Wonder Woman episode came out, eh? Greater universal knowledge, we has it. I'm really excited about Catwoman. I love Selina Kyle. It makes sense that she is a bisexual character, and I'm really glad that they're taking that move in the story, and I can't wait to read it. But I did have a few points of contention just for consideration, not to naysay or poo-poo the idea, but just things to keep in mind. Selina Kyle is an anti-hero. She's not a villain, but it would have been much more powerful if an established hero were to come out as bisexual. It kind of plays into this thing that we do where we only diversify villain characters. The other reason this struck a bit of a sour chord with me is, like, are we seriously still not having the conversation that Harley and Ivy are together? Are we really just gonna dance around this? They've done everything but say it. And I get it that the authors aren't necessarily focusing on Harley's relationship life right now, so that's understandable. I would like to propose to DC, since so many people are asking about the sexuality of all of their characters, a handy infographic. If you wanted to have it drawn by Dustin Nguyen, that would be amazing. I would buy a print, I'm just saying. Charlie Username said that Phil Jimenez and Gail Simone both openly stated that Wonder Woman was queer when they wrote her, and I am really interested to see this proof, but I wouldn't put it past Gail. Gail, you dog. I love you. Phil Koss shared an interesting experience as a G.I. Joe fan. When Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed, there was a lot of talk in the G.I. Joe comic books about whether or not any of the characters would come out as gay. And ultimately, fans were okay with it because G.I. Joe doesn't really put a lot of focus on the romantic relationships of the characters anyways, because that's not what the comic is about. And I think that's a really good point. You know, it doesn't always have to be about a character's sexuality. If that's not where the story's going, hey, it's not where the story's going. I will say that a more comprehensive overall look at the lives of the soldiers, to me, would be really cool and compelling, but I don't currently read G.I. Joe, so I guess I can't really complain. But I think it's great that people even had the conversation that that should be a possibility. High five, you guys. TJ Anderson let me know that on Twitter, Noelle Stevenson had a really great conversation about superheroes and comics and queer representation and some of the things that she would like to see. And one of the really great points that she made was you should never assume that a character is just straight. You should always assume that they are some version of queer until otherwise established. I think that's really cool. I think it's really progressive. I'm sad to say that I think we're a long ways off from that. And it's really difficult to, I think, infuse that conversation into a storyline without directly acknowledging a person's sexuality, because so many comics get romantically involved with their protagonist. It's such a big part of the story. I don't know. I think it's a really good point, and I guess I should always start assuming that characters are queer unless otherwise specified. I'd just really like to hope that comics could be open to that. Wow, that was totally candid. I knew I put that comment on there for a reason. Hey, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. It allows us to do what we do. It puts food in our bellies. Actually, it doesn't do that yet, but eventually we'd like it to put food in our bellies, but first we would like it to at least pay for itself. Mama needs a new pair of shoes. Share my video. Edible shoes. I go for food first. A special thanks as always goes out to Austin Books and Comics, whose employees are always helping people get into more progressive comics and comics that expand what we think comics are. Good job, you guys.